I found Katniss's thought about Buttercup and the light being a metaphor for what Snow is doing to her to be really interesting. She thinks the one thing that sends Buttercup into a tailspin is when I leave the light on, but put it hopelessly out of his reach. He's useless until I shut the light off. That's what Snow is trying to do to me now, only I don't know what form his game takes. Basically, in this situation, Snow is Katniss, Katniss is Buttercup, and the light is Peeta. It makes me think back to book 1 when Katniss thinks about how Haymitch has always remained unmarried and without kids, and she realized it was because people you love will always be like levers to be manipulated, and though Katniss tries to adopt a similar outlook, ultimately she did fall for Peeta, and now he's the main thing that Snow can exploit.
Suzanne Collins is such a master of incorporating these metaphors and epiphany moments for Katniss into the story, and I think this crazy cat with the light is really a great example of that.
And the Buttercup metaphor is applicable to many people too, because Katniss realizes that the same situation has happened with Annie and Finnick when they have a conversation in the bunker. So I remember this moment that they talk about back in Catching Fire when Finnick gives Katniss a weird look after reviving Peeta. What Finnick realized is that Katniss did in fact love Peeta, and it wasn't all just an act. He tells Katniss in this scene, "You do love him. I'm not saying in what way, maybe you don't know yourself, but anyone paying attention could see how much you care about him." I also like seeing this true unfiltered side of Finnick, and he gives Katniss advice that I really liked. When she asks him how he bears it, he says, "Better not to give into it. It takes 10 times as long to put yourself back together as it does to fall apart." And that really resonated because I agree that it's much harder to rebuild optimism or hope and also maintain it. It's very easy to just give in to pessimism or despair, but it almost never makes you feel better in the end. It creates a downward spiral, you know?
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I love Finnick, and it was really, really hard reading this series again, knowing his fate. And Lorraine, I vividly remember you talking about how much you loved him in Catching Fire, and I was dying on the inside. I was just like, oh my god. I was like, Lorraine, you have to know what you're in for so much pain. I was just like, yeah, he's great. He's super great.
He didn't deserve that ending.